Good morning. I'm coming to you from the sunny shores of Cincinnati, Ohio. Sorry about not having a message out yesterday, but we were driving. We left really early, and that'll happen from time to time. I'm not positive I'll be able to put one of these out tomorrow. I think I should be able to, but when we're traveling somewhere, that makes it difficult to do. And as a result, also, tonight there will not be a lesson on Wednesday night. I don't know how many of you will watch that. So you might want to this is going to be just a hair longer, not a lot. But I'm going to look at Psalm 118, and I think it's an especially appropriate one. I've heard bits and pieces of this psalm for a long time, but it's especially appropriate for the circumstances we're undergoing as a nation. And it's good to remember that we faced difficult times before and come through. And that's the story of the church. That the church has faced persecution and hardship and peril. But God's love endures, His word endures, the church endures, even when individuals may fall. Even when whole cities and whole congregations are consumed. And I don't think we're at that point. I don't think most of us, and especially in Columbia, in the Cathy's Creek community, are secure. And I mean physically secure in a world that's very tumultuous. I don't know if that'll always be the case, but I know that we will always be spiritually secure no matter what happens. And Psalm 118 is one of the ways that we're told that. This is a long song. I'm going to read the whole thing and expound on a couple of parts, but man, it's really good. It starts awesome. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. And this is a responsive psalm. And so if you read through this, and this happens in a lot of these psalms, the next line is, His love endures forever. And that's what the congregation would say to whoever was reading. So give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. And the congregation would say, His love endures forever. Let Israel say, His love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, His love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, His love endures forever. It never goes away. It's always there. When hard pressed, I cried to the Lord. He brought me into a spacious place. The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? Quoted in Hebrews, and I used it this past Sunday in the sermon. When we remember these words, starting in verse 7 again. The Lord is with me. He is my helper. I look in triumph on my enemies. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in humans. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. All the nations surrounded me, but in the name of the Lord I cut them down. They surrounded me on every side, but in the name of the Lord I cut them down. They swarmed around me like bees, but they were consumed as quickly as burning thorns. In the name of the Lord I cut them down. I was pushed back and about to fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my defense. He has become my salvation. We don't trust in a political party or individuals or the president or the governor or the mayor. We trust in the Lord. He will always help us to endure whatever we're facing. And as a result, verse 15, shouts of joy and victory resound in the tents of the righteous. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. The Lord's right hand is lifted high. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. I will not die, but live, and will proclaim what the Lord has done. The Lord has chastened me severely, but He has not given me over to death. Open for me the gates of righteousness, and I will enter and give thanks to the Lord. This is the gate of the Lord through which the righteous may enter. I will give you thanks, for you answered me. You have become my salvation. This whole psalm is about this reliance on God. But there's a part at the end of the psalm that's well known. 2 different verses, both well known, but very rarely connected, even though they're only 2 verses apart from each other. And the one that's about to start, verse 22. But the salvation that the Lord is, it's not an accident that verse 21 ends with the phrase, you have become my salvation. Verse 22 says, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Every Christian knows, and the writers of the Gospels tell us, that's Jesus. That Jesus has become the chief cornerstone. That Jesus is the Lord's salvation. You have become my salvation. That's what Jesus' name means. He is the salvation of Yahweh. He was Yahweh's deliverance of us. Jehovah saves is what the name Jesus means. It's what He does. So the psalm has a messianic tone. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. That is a messianic prophecy about what Jesus would have done. And here's the part that I've never connected to this. Verse 24. This verse is super well known, probably not in the ESV language. The Lord has done it this very day. Let us rejoice today and be glad. That verse is the verse that is most commonly translated, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So we talk about the Lord's salvation in verse 21. Verse 22 is a messianic prophecy of the chief cornerstone coming from this block that the builders rejected, and that it's marvelous in our eyes. And verse 24 reminds us to celebrate that salvation. The Lord has done it. Let us rejoice and be glad. The psalm ends with, Lord, save us. Lord, grant us success. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. In the house of the Lord we bless you. The Lord is God, and he has made his light shine on us. With boughs in his hand, join in the festal procession up to the horns of the altar. You are my God, and I will praise you. You are my God, and I will exalt you. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. And the congregation says, in response to the very last line of the psalm, his love endures forever. I hope you reread that psalm over and over today and remember that we should give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. In the midst of suffering, no matter the circumstances, every statement in that psalm is true, and his love endures forever. I hope that's useful for you today. Definitely longer than normal, but no lesson tonight. I will have another 2-minute thing tomorrow morning. Thanks, and hope to see you all soon. Bye.